Welcome everyone to MRM Sports. I'm your host, Ronald M. Welcome to a new segment of the show called Blues Bias Show, man. Everything Chelsea. We talk everything Chelsea, from the results, from the transfer rumors, from the behind the scenes at the club, from everything, man, from the recruitment policies, everything Chelsea. The Blues Bias Show. It's a new segment I'm introducing to the channel, man. I hope you guys will love it, especially for fellow Chelsea fans, man. Everything Blues Biased, Blues Bias Show. Where do we begin? Last night was a game, the West London derby. Chelsea go to Fulham. We lose the game 2-1. Fulham don't have Mitrovic. We end up losing the game 2-1. Our new signing, Joao Felix, has a perfect game, has a good game. He gets a red card, deservedly so. But then, the black Harry Maguire, Koulibaly, for me, the faster black version of Harry Maguire, Koulibaly, that was a poor pass, which, no player, unless if maybe Messi or Mahrez, those are the only players who can come to my mind, who could have controlled that ball. That was a shitty pass. The pace on that pass, it was as if it was a clearance, a harsh clearance, and he couldn't control it, and then he lands onto the ball, and then it was a red card. And of course, like I said in my previous video, Willian scores against Chelsea. I said he will come to Herrera, and he did. And Aspilicueta, the club captain, the guy who has been with 9 different coaches, Willian has a Chelsea for 7 years or so. As soon as you see Willian's afro attacking you, you know what you're supposed to do. Show him to the left side. Don't let him cut onto his right foot, because he's deadly on the right foot. What do you call that? That's poor defense from Aspilicueta, man. But then, this show is not about the reaction to the game, really. I thought, let me do something which I think is just a mashup of why we're in this situation. Where we are is a result of a lot of things. But then I thought, let me look at 5 different things. 5 wrong things at Chelsea. 5 wrong things at Chelsea. 5 things wrong with Chelsea at the moment. For me, the first one, I'll start on. The first one, I think the owners. For me, the owners of the club really messed up. End of last season, we used to see Ted Boehly sitting where Roman Abramovich used to sit at the private area box at the Stamford Bridge there, which, if you're a person who analyzes things, really signaled the end of Roman era. No one would just sit there during Roman's time. Even if it was not there, the camera would just glance at the view, no one is there. We used to see Roman there. Then started seeing Todd Boehly in his shade, sitting there, applauding Chelsea, thinking the American guy is over. He's in. He's taking over the team. And then, what went wrong for me that time? In his mind, I think they knew, him and his staff and his board and the part owners, they knew that they wanted to get rid of Tuchel. They knew that they wanted Graham Potter to come in. I don't think that was a new season reaction to bad results. I think they knew. But then, you start getting rid of Peter Cech, your what's the name of the late who used to handle transfers for Abramovich? You start getting rid of the backroom staff. The chairman of the team. You start getting rid of everyone there. And then you remain with Tuchel. Tuchel navigates the club through transfers. He's saying who he wants to bring in. You bring in Koulibaly, you bring in Aubameyang, you get rid of your Timo Werner. You get rid of some players, you bring in your Sterling. These are clearly players Tuchel wants. Tuchel is calling for the board to sign. And then a few game weeks down the line, just like a month down the line, you fire the same manager who has been holding the fort down. If you knew you wanted to get rid of Tuchel, as soon as you take over, send Tuchel to the side. End of season, I'm sorry, we have to let you go. Want to take the club in a different direction. Bring in another coach. Talk to Brighton. Bring in Graham Potter. Give Potter the preseason. Don't make Tuchel go to America, travel to different counties, different cities, advertising Chelsea, lose to 4-0 to Arsenal in the preseason, and then fire him down a month down the line. Don't do that. Just get him end of season, talk to him nicely, let him thank the fans, let him understand. Don't fire the backroom first, get rid of the coach, bring in a different coach, and then start replacing the backroom staff. I think that was the biggest mistake, the way they ended the whole Thomas Tuchel situation. I think it's the reason why. It's the reason why some fans are changing for Tuchel's name. Because the whole situation has been handled immaturely. I remember Gary Neville tweeted football manager at Chelsea. And then now it's turning out to be true, because the way the teams are playing, the way the club is, there's now distinct connection between the fans and the new coach and the new owners to be perfect, man. I think that's the first thing which is wrong at Chelsea. Item number 2, which is wrong at Chelsea. I think for me, the backroom staff. I mean, like I said in point number one, the players, the backroom staff who has been brought in. I mean, so many people let go under the new regime. I think it's the man, it's the club. They have to take the club to their own vision, towards their own vision. But then you bring different backroom staff, and it's just a mashup of different people. I don't think all of those people put in have years and years of working together. So it's just a new people trying to navigate this whole big club, trying to make sure that everything runs smoothly. I mean, you can see from the signings that it's still a scattergun approach. I mean, who is saying we should sign João Felix? Who is saying we should do this? I mean, everyone comes, okay, let's build for the future. Let's build for the future. No one is focusing on the current team. You want to sign all these great youngsters. All these youngsters who have a potential to be great. Who's beefing up the first team? I mean, the backroom staff, for me, the recruitment policy has been poor from the new regime. I mean, it's just another scattergun approach. I don't want to say similar to what was happening under Roman Abramovich, because Roman at least will fire a coach, sign great players, bring in a great coach to manage these great players. I think now we just have an average coach. We bring in all these different sorts of players, those youngsters who give you a bad game week, a good game week, a bad game week, who just interchange between good and bad. And so for me, the backroom staff, I think the backroom staff at Chelsea is a problem. And again, the medical side, the health department, the guys who are in charge of injured players, man. How many players do Chelsea have out on injuries? I think I saw a stat saying about 21 players are injured. I mean, man, how do you get recurring injuries, especially to key players like Kante, like Reece James, like Chilwell? I mean, these players are out, indefinitely out. I mean, dark times ahead. I think that's another department which is the new owners of the Chelsea team have to look at that side of the club and really try to find a solution, because you can't have so many players out. I mean, it's as if we're cursed now. It's as if it's a hoax that we won't make it anyway. I mean, it's as if it's similar to what Guardiola has in the Champions League, that hoax that you won't win the Champions League with City. I mean, so many players injured, man. I can't believe that we have 21 players out injured. And something has to give at Chelsea. Something has to give. The backroom staff have to pull up their sources, man. We have to start seeing something different there. And then for me, the third problem wrong with Chelsea. I think the coach. I'm not saying Graham Potter out, but then his tactics, man. I mean, his persona, his demeanor. I mean, his player selection. Can someone try and make me understand why Kai Havertz is starting and playing in 90 minutes? In a game where you need goals, he's not taken out of the team. I mean, you can't tell me Kai Havertz is a better footballer than Aubameyang. I will refuse this point. I will refuse it today. If a team was creating chances, you play Oba, you score maybe half of those chances. You play Havertz, you score maybe a third at most, or a quarter of those chances. You can't tell me why Graham Potter doesn't fancy Oba. You can't tell me Oba is finished to the extent that Havertz is a better number 9 than him. There is no way. I refuse to believe that. There is no way you can say. I mean, if you had to take Oba back to Barca right now, I'm telling you, start scoring goals. If Lewandowski has to be injured and then he plays for Barcelona, you start scoring goals. There is no way Oba has regressed that much in this past 6 months or so. This is clearly a tactical problem where we don't create enough, so Oba doesn't look interested in games. We're talking about a guy who was the top goal scorer in the Premier League when he was playing for Arsenal, when Arsenal finished about 8th in the table or so, 8th in the league or so. There is no way Oba has regressed that much. And you can't sign Fofana, not play him, the new striker. For me, that's just a bad omen, man. That's just a bad omen. And again, his demeanor. I mean, I think Graham Potter will turn out to be a good manager for Chelsea. But then his demeanor at the moment is not reassuring fans. And I think that's partly why some Chelsea fans are chanting for Thomas Tuchel. Because this Tuchel would come there in the post-interview, talk tactical football, talk 1, 2, 3. We try to do this in the game. I mean, Potter looks lost. I mean, his demeanor even when he's sitting down. When Chelsea considered a goal, that Willian goal, I mean, he was just sitting, looking puzzled, looking defeated. I mean, it's 6 months down the line, he's already looking as if he's been here for 6 years and just wants to get out. I think he has to improve on his persona a bit. It's all good when you're just this laid-back character when the team is winning. But then when the team is losing, the fans want to see more. The fans want to see you make those decisions. I mean, at half time, I felt like you should have substituted one player because there are a lot of host players who are playing bad football. You should have taken one player when you're losing, tried bringing someone in to show that we are He is thinking about the game. He is focused on doing 1, 2, 3 of the game. He is trying to change the game. Don't just throw in 4 players when you're down 2-1 and hope for the best. Don't do that. And then the fourth thing wrong with Chelsea, I think the players, man, we have a great collection of players, collection of different players. I think Chelsea is one of those clubs that is represented in. Let me see. He's an Asian player at Chelsea. I think that's the only continent that doesn't have a player at Chelsea. With so many collection of players. Individually, they are brilliant players. Think of Ziyech. He's a brilliant player. We saw it when he was playing for Morocco. Pulisic is a brilliant player when he's playing for USA. Havertz seems okay for Germany. Koulibaly seems okay for Senegal. With so many different players. Kovacic is brilliant for Croatia. With so many, we have a collection of players, and the players are failing to produce. And then some players are not good enough for Chelsea. It's time to accept that. I love Koulibaly. I support black players. I'm proudly African. But then Koulibaly at the moment is turning out to be a faster black version of Harry Maguire. The mistakes he was making yesterday. He's no longer even comfortable on the ball. This is not the Koulibaly we order from Napoli, man. This is not the Koulibaly who did things happen at Napoli. This is not the Koulibaly who the owner of Napoli said is worth 100 million if Maguire is worth 80 million. For me, Cucurella. Who signs Cucurella for 60 million? I'm sure he will turn out to be a great asset for Chelsea at some point. But then that's just money not well spent, man. The players we have at Chelsea, you know what? If we were to sell players, I can name 15 players from the back of my mind who I think should just be sold by Chelsea. Who should just moved on. Azpilicueta is no longer good enough. He's been a loyal club captain, man. He's loyal servant. I love the guy. But then you remember when Ivanovic was falling off. This is actually a bit more worse. Because this Ivanovic could give us something going for. This is a bit more worse. Yesterday I was watching watching Azpilicueta, every time he gets the ball, even if we're trying to counter, he just lost the game, takes it back to Chalobah or Thiago Silva. It was just a heartbreak to watch, man. I think we just need him to be first out of the team. We need a right back except this January transfer window. And then the fifth thing wrong at Chelsea, it's the club culture. I think the fact that, in all honesty, we're cheering for, fans are chanting. It's right, don't get me wrong. But then for us to be chanting for Thomas Tuchel, there is no way these American owners, there is no way they'll go back to Tuchel and say, you know what, we made a mistake. Can you come back? This is a relationship, but it's not that kind of relationship where you go to your ex-girlfriend and say, you know what, babe, I messed up. I saw the new thing which I thought was attractive with Pride on. I thought, let me try it out, but then you know what? You're the one I love. There is no way Ted Boyle is going to Thomas Tuchel and giving him his job back. What would that say about Graham Potter? What did that say about him as a man, as an owner of the team? You fire a coach, 6 months down the line, you go to ask him back. So the fans might as well. I think it's just raising their frustration at what the club is. But then, the club culture of the fans and the club as well, man. Communication has been poor. I think from the club, communication has been poor. They try to communicate by the money, by bringing João Felix. But then, I think we need that transparency between the owners of the club, the directors. Have the new technical director or whoever it is sit down with the journalist, even if it's an in-house thing with the Chelsea TV. Let them talk that they understand where the club is with Graham Potter, but then they're supporting him. They don't believe we'll be relegated. They know this season is a transitional season, but then with the players they're going to sign, with the plans they have, with the money available in the January in the transfer window, we know that. We can build the team. We can help him build the team. We can finish in the top 10. We can make sure that next season we fight for top 4. We challenge for a trophy, be it the Carabao or the FA Cup. At least give us something. Show us something. Change the culture. Roman Abramovich didn't say much. We just, as a Chelsea fan, I knew if the coach is bad for 6 months, I know Roman is just breaking news. Sky Sports News, a new coach. So-and-so has been fired. Chelsea is expecting to sign this as the new coach. Roman, that's how he communicates. And fans, even if fans don't like it, they know the next coach will be successful. But the new regime, there's no that communication. Don't move like Roman if you don't have Roman's balls. Don't move like Roman if you don't want to take the club where Roman is taking us, where every 2 years we have a new coach. Don't bring in Potter to be a 5-year project and then not communicate and expect Chelsea fans to suffer in those next 5 years if things are not going the way, man. Just communicate with the club. I think for me, those are the things that I think are 5 wrong things with Chelsea, 5 things wrong at Chelsea, man, at the moment, which I think need to be worked on by the club, by the fans, or whoever, man. But then, I've said a lot. I actually feel lighter now. Guys, I'm your host, Ronald Tim. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video as well, man. Check out more content dropping soon. And again, it's another Premier League game weekend. I mean, you have big teams. We'll get to the preview of that next, man. I'm your host. Cheers.